What comes to your mind when you think about electing a pope? In 21st century, the procedure for choosing the next leader of the Roman Catholic Church is well established. However, this wasn't always the case in the history. One of the papal elections from 13th century is a ready-made scenario for a movie, thanks to its ruthless and also peculiar rules. Being a pope in the Middle Ages was completely different to what it is now. Apart from a religious realm, popes also had to face earthly ones, especially Roman Empire, later known as Holy Roman Empire. Although this name isn't the most accurate, as Voltaire pointed out in the 18th century. This body, which was called and which still calls itself the Holy Roman Empire, was in no way holy, nor Roman, nor an empire. 22nd of August 1241 saw the death of the Pope Gregory IX. He began his pontificate in 1227 by excommunicating the Holy Roman Emperor Frederic II, as he hadn't led the crusade he promised 7 years earlier. Not a great start to a relationship between them. The ending wasn't much better, as Gregory IX died when a conflict with Frederic II was not only unresolved, but left with extreme tensions. Those tensions transferred into papal conclave. It took place under the threat of the surrounding army of the emperor. However, he retreated, what sent a message that he was at war with the deceased pope, but not with the church. The election took place in an ancient complex turned into a monastery. 10 cardinals had to choose the new pope with a 2/3 majority of votes. This task turned out to provide substantial difficulties. The cardinals were divided into 2 fractions. One wished to continue hostility towards Frederic II, while the other wanted to make peace with him. When multiple votings didn't result in final conclusion, cardinals asked the emperor to release 2 cardinals he was holding captive. However, when they were summoned to his presence, one of them, Giacomo da Pecorara, immediately excommunicated him, and so he stayed captive for 2 more years. The other cardinal, Oddone di Monferrato, briefly joined the conclave, but returned to prison before the final voting. Unhappy with elections still undecided, Frederic II put more pressure on conclave, along with Senator Matteo Rosso Orsini, a de facto Lord of Rome at the time. Cardinals were strictly secluded in a monastery and supervised by Orsini's guards. The rooftop of election chamber was leaking not only with rain, but also with guards' urine. The heat and shortage of food made the conditions unbearable. On 26th of September 1241, 6 days into the conclave, one of the cardinals, Englishman Robert Somercotes, passed away. The cardinals couldn't leave the monastery even to attend the funeral, and the same as before, no physicians and servants were allowed. The conclave went deep into October, still with the urine from the rooftop, heat, shortage of food, and excrements piling up in the monastery. The inhumane conditions seriously affected health of 2 more cardinals, Goffredo da Castiglione and Sinibaldo Fieschi. Ironically, thanks to that, the former was starting to be seen as an ideal compromise candidate. On one hand, he was a supporter of Frederic II, on the other, he was also one of the oldest cardinals. On October 25th, sick Goffredo was chosen as a new pope, Celestine IV. Because of his atrocious health condition, he only occupied the throne for 17 days. Even before his funeral, several cardinals had fled the city, concerned about possible cruel reaction of Frederic II. This began one of the longest sede vacantes in the papal history, lasting 20 months without a pope. Because of the confinement, papal election of 1241 is sometimes referred to as the First Conclave, even with no formal rules yet established. Other papal elections of the 13th century helped establishing the constitution Ubi Periculum in 1274 that officially formalized the way of choosing the pope. It was a long process with some significant sacrifices on the way. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. And if you're driven by curiosity like me, you can click and participate in my semi-interactive video for April Fool's Day. Anyway, thank you for watching and have a nice day.